This podcast is brought to you by ONNIT. Go to ONNIT.com and look at the great selection of supplements. If you find something you like, press in code Joey and get 10% off delivered right to your house. What's happening, you bad motherfuckers? It's Wednesday, August the 31st. It's over. The joint is brought to you by DraftKings. Listen, on the 11th football season is about to fucking begin. I want you to be ready for week one action with DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. And to celebrate the return of football, you're going to bet $5 on any football game, and whether it wins or loses, you get 200 free bets. Experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion and up to 7. You win. Bet on any NFL team of your choice, and if your team leads by 7 points at any point during the game, you get paid instantly, even if your team loses. Listen, I'm just excited about Buffalo against LA Rams for the opening fucking night. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Deposit and withdraw your cash whenever the fuck you want. And let me tell you something else. Fucking fantasy season with DraftKings, oh my God, what they have over there. So what you're going to do is either download the DraftKings Sportsbook app or you're going to download the DraftKings Fantasy app. They're giving away millions in prizes. If you're a fantasy guy, DraftKings is what you need. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use promo code Joey, and get 200 free bets instantly. That's code Joey only at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details, but besides that, download the DraftKings app and get ready to win some motherfucking money. The joint is also brought to you by Manscaped. Listen, it was a smooth sack summer, Jack, but Manscaped is making sure you have a ball this fall by giving you everything you need to stay fresh below the equator. I just finished manscaping my nutsack last week, and it was tremendous. My balls are magnifique. Manscaped Performance Package has it all. The Lawnmower 4.0 body trimmer, the Weed Whacker nose and hair trimmer, skin-safe technology to protect you, your delicate holes. They're all waterproof, so you can shave in the motherfucking shower. Manscaped even threw in 2 gifts for their package: the boxes and the Shed travel bag, which has a little zipper inside. Nobody knows nothing. Take a look at the Shears 2.0, their luxury nail grooming kit. It includes stainless steel nail cutters, tweezers, and grooming scissors. No more scratching your lady in bed with those nasty fucking feet. So what we're going to do is this. I'm going to give you 20% off and free shipping with code Joey at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with code Joey at manscaped.com. It's summer sack, so get your shit together, cocksuckers. And now it's time for the joint.
Check 1, 2. Welcome to Uncle Joey's Joint.
What's happening, you bad motherfuckers? Welcome to another fun-filled episode of The Fucking Joint. It's Wednesday, the 31st of the month. That's it. It's over. We did another month. We got 4 months left in the year. This is my favorite fucking quarter of the year. I love fucking going all out. I got comedy shows. I got a ton of shit going on. But anyway, I have a guest today in motherfucking studio. This guy, my wife asked me who I had in the podcast today, and I told her the most interesting guy I've met since I've been in New Jersey. Welcome, Mr. ROB SHAFFER, to The Fucking Joint. We're breaking this podcast cherry to boot, too, so. What's happening, brother?
Everything's great, bro. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, man. Ever since I met you, I've been a different fucking animal. We met through jiu-jitsu. We have a mutual friend, Rob Story. He didn't go to class today.
He was in class today.
Hey, he was?
He was in class today.
Okay, good. I didn't think he went to class, but we met through him. He introduced me to Mr. Shaffer because he said maybe he could help you out with the breathing and shit. You know, I love doing jiu-jitsu. I just suck at it, but I keep showing up. But I think this guy's story is interesting for anybody who wants to do anything with their life. So tell us how it started. You were a stockbroker in the city, right?
I was a stockbroker in the city. I wasn't your typical like yuppie Ivy League guy that went to Harvard and became a stockbroker. You know, my dad was a New York City fireman. I was a high school dropout, and I actually coached hockey at Manor Road in Staten Island, which I'm sure you're familiar with, right?
Yes.
So the owner of Manor Road, I used to coach his son at hockey, and the owner of Manor Road owned a broker-dealer called Joseph Stevens in Manhattan on 59 Maiden Lane. And one day when I was like 20 years old, he's like, Rob, what are you going to do when you grow up? And I was like, I'm going to be a professional hockey player. And he took me on his side. He's like, let me tell you something. You're never going to be a professional hockey player. He's like, I was like, well, thanks a lot for the confidence. You know, well, what should I do in my life? He was like, oh, why don't you come work for me? I own a broker-dealer. I didn't even know what a stock was at the time. But I decided to take the opportunity and whatnot. And I went there. I worked for 14 years on Wall Street. I did very, very well. Due to a really unfortunate circumstance in my life, when I was 33, I had an ex pass away, really fucked my head up a little bit. And I decided to spend the next year of my life on a bender that probably could have killed half of the Rolling Stones, you know? And then at the very end of that is when I found jiu-jitsu. So
How did you find jiu-jitsu? What made you go in there?
During everything, I always worked out. I was always in the gym. It could have been the worst day of my life. I could have been hungover. I was just a gym rat since I was a little kid. So I was in the gym. Long story short, you know, these guys are carrying mats through the gym to set up this little room in the back. And I figured they were doing like a yoga room or some shit like that. But one of the guys I ended up going to high school with and actually grew up next to since I was 5 years old. His name's Gus Brandstetter. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. And we wrestled together. And he was like, oh, it's great to see you. You would love jiu-jitsu. It's just like wrestling, but with submissions. So why don't you come? So I'm like 230 pounds at the time, like fucking jacked. I looked like a big beach ball, like a retard, like all the guys at the Jersey Shore, you know? And I go to the class, and it was cool. And then at the end, he's like, all right, we're going to do live rounds now, and you're going to roll with this guy. And the guy he points to, who, by the way, his name is Dave Zanario. They call him Super Dave. He was a black belt then. He's still a very good black belt, very big competitor. He's about 125 pounds, if that, okay? I'm 230 at the time. And he's about 5'4", okay? So they're like, you're going to roll with him. And I tell my friend Gus, I was like, I'm not going to roll with this guy. Like, I'm going to fucking hurt this guy. I don't want to roll with him. He said, yeah, go hurt him. I said, all right. So I roll with Dave. I had a 110-pound weight difference between me and him. He beat the living shit out of me. When I tell you, like, probably submitted me 25 times in 5 minutes, and that was because he was being nice, you know? So after that, that was it. I was like, whatever the hell this guy just did to me, I need to learn how to do that, and I need to learn it quick because that's never happening again. Now, 7 years later, it still happens every time I roll with him, but it's just, you know, now you know the game. There's always those levels, and he's always up there. Yeah, but that's how I got into it, and I really, really fell in love with it. Really dedicated the past 6 years to training. I train 3-4 times a day sometimes between not just jiu-jitsu, but jiu-jitsu, the gym, the breath work that you and I have been doing together, and things of that nature, and it's changed my life in the best possible way I could ever imagine.
How long did you stay at that school?
I was only at that school for a few months, not for any bad reason, just because I ended up moving. So I went up to North Jersey, and I was training at a school called Pure MMA. I think they're the biggest in New Jersey. They have like 1,500 students in Rockaway. Andy and Mikey Main. Andy was on The Ultimate Fighter, and he was the king of pancrase and stuff like that. And Mikey's just another young, talented guy. But more importantly, they're just like most people you meet, but they're just two of the greatest people. They built a beautiful facility. They have a great student base. And I trained there for a long time until I met Cyborg, and then transitioned to fight sports, and now training with Steve as well when I'm in New Jersey.
Now, where'd you meet Cyborg?
So I met So when I first got into jiu-jitsu, I really, really wanted to be great at it, and I kind of got discouraged because I started at 35, you know, and you see all these world champions out there. They're like, you know, 18, 19, 20 years old. So I thought I was very late, and it was discouraging because I was still rolling with younger guys, but I didn't think I'd ever have the ability to accomplish much starting so late in my life. So I met Cyborg at Nogi Worlds, I believe, or maybe, Nogi Worlds 3 years ago. I think it was 2019, like right before COVID. And I watched him at 40 years old, win a world championship. Actually, I'm sorry. I think in the finals of that, he blew out his knee in it. But nonetheless, last year, for example, at 40 years old, he wins an adult world championship. You know what I mean? Like, guy's a 7-time world champion, ADCC champion, and he's still winning at the highest level at my age. So once I met him, I was like, all right, there's my motivation. I'm going to be the broke man's version of that guy.
So now he trains in Florida.
He trains out of Miami.
So you moved everything.
I went down there to go move, okay? I trained there with him. I went down there to move. He invited me to join the team. Come back, and now I'm moving, right? Moving down April 15th, 2020. And I lived in Miami. I lived in Miami in 2013. April 15th, 2020, I had my realtor appointments to look at places, and fucking COVID happens, right? So they canceled all realtor appointments. You couldn't even go into apartments or houses to look at them at that time. So I said, all right, you know what? I'll sit tight as soon as this shit is over, thinking it's going to be, a week, 2 weeks, a month, right? Then I'll go move down. Well, here we are now 3 years later. Things are finally just subsiding, and the prices down there have more than doubled. So I'm still probably, to a fault, so loyal to that team. I will never compete under any different team. I'd rather quit jiu-jitsu. But I'm training right now with, Steve and Inferno, as you know, while I'm up here. They're super supportive and help me as much as they can while I'm here.
The thing that impresses me the most about you is you became a champion at the age of 40?
30, 40.
40. And it's really interesting that after I spoke to you, you're a champion. You're a champion in life because
Appreciate it.
You put everything you have into this. Like, the ability that you have as a stockbroker to work and make money, you push that aside to be happy, which a lot of people don't even understand that concept. They will never think about that. They'll never adjust it because they're scared they won't be able to make money. You took a chance, you put some money away, and you said, this is what I want to do. I'm going to change my budget. You drive a car like me, a Subaru. Right. You kept your fucking overhead low, and you've dedicated yourself to training. I tell you, that's spectacular.
The truth of it is that if it wasn't for jiu-jitsu, I wouldn't have done that because, the business that I was brought up in, it was about, who has the most, who has the biggest house, who has the nicest car, the nicest watch, blah, blah, blah. And you never were happy. You could have made $1 million and the guy down the hall made $2 million and, you weren't good enough. Once you start training jiu-jitsu, as I'm sure you know, because you meet so many people from all walks of life, none of that shit mattered to me anymore. I was like, you know what? I'm happy doing this. And if I can just do this effectively and enjoy myself, I'm good. And I did. And guess what? Through jiu-jitsu, my business exploded. I got into another business now. I'm doing solar. That's exploded just from people that I met through jiu-jitsu. I'm here with you because of jiu-jitsu. 99% of my great friends in life I've met through jiu-jitsu. So it's really, it's the sport that changes, not just me, but anyone you talk to that really falls in love with it. It has the biggest impact on my life than anything I can imagine.
I read all this stuff online about jiu-jitsu is a cult, jiu-jitsu is this, that, and it's really hard to explain to people the satisfaction you get from jiu-jitsu. I went to karate as a kid. I did everything. I tried everything at least one time. When I walked into that jiu-jitsu place for the first time, because I had dear friends that were already in the fucking game, they're masters of this shit,
right?
And they couldn't get me to do it. And one day I just watched the match, and I'm like, I like this better than that whole MMA shit. I saw a beauty in jiu-jitsu that I never saw in anything else. Like I saw it in basketball.
Of course.
You see it in baseball. There's a certain beauty to it. But jiu-jitsu just grabbed me. And jiu-jitsu's a life changer for some people, like it was for you. Jiu-jitsu lets you know how fucked up you really are. And the things you got to... Yeah, you're going for a blue belt. You're going for this. But there's so many personal things. Like for me, I was a mouth breather. So we're
working on that now, right?
Right, but no. I mean, listen, I've got my nose broken 18 times, and then you put 2 pounds of coke in there. It ain't going to help your nostrils or breathing. I still remember getting surgery. Like all the surgeries I've gotten since 2013 and helped me with jiu-jitsu. But they showed me that I like to breathe. Like, I never knew I wasn't breathing properly.
Right.
I had no fucking idea. I would walk stairs and go, why am I fucking out of breath? It's 3 fucking stairs, you know? And then you learn, I realized I couldn't breathe right. That's what I was doing. So forget jiu-jitsu. I had to learn how to breathe right. And then I had a surgery on my knee. And why did I get, and I'm like, I'm never going to go back to jiu-jitsu after the surgery. Are you fucking kidding me? You don't even let the knee heal.
No.
And you got to go back. And the thing I noticed about jiu-jitsu is one thing. Like, I was going to kickboxing for a while at this Kickboxing America. You know, I had gone from 418 pounds to about 270, and I wanted to keep my weight there. I wasn't involved in jiu-jitsu before, but I would go to these kickboxing places, and I would see these guys with the rash guards and the fucking knee pads and the fucking pants and greased hair, and they're fucking hitting me for real. And I'm like, can I ask you a question? What do you do for a living? You a fireman? I'm like, no, I'm a fireman. A fucking fireman. You know, so it was a little too real for me, like that kickboxing place. It was like people were trying to always overprove themselves.
Right.
Then you walk into a jiu-jitsu gym, and the first day they'll say to you, go with that guy. And as you're going with this guy, he's beating you up, you're not breathing right, but he'll stop and go, put your hand here. Put your hand over here, do this, do that. The people you meet, that's never been done.
No.
Like, I never had that before. You know, I went through a really bad period for about a year. After I moved here, I was confused. And I walked into Gracie one day, and fucking, they were very nice to me, you know, and a week later I had to have knee surgery. And I had this corona fear. I had the corona fear. Listen, man, I was asking somebody the other day, how come all these people haven't gone back to work? Like, there's a lot of people, like I just read somewhere else that they can't do this year because they don't have enough employees. People don't realize there's Amazon, there's still a lot of people that are hiding in their houses, guys.
Yeah.
I want you to know that. There's still a lot of
what
people.
about all these people that lost their jobs for not getting vaccinated? Now you don't need a vaccine anymore for anything, but these people still lost all their jobs.
Well, the thing with me was, if you're a union and they fired you with this vaccine, you better call them up and say, listen, we're taking these motherfuckers to court.
Yeah.
I'm union. Can't fucking fire me over this. These cops that lost their jobs,
Yeah.
and firefighters. It's funny because when I went to LBI this year, I met some fire lady, like a firewoman, a firefighter that was a female, and then she crossed the street with like 10 other chicks, and they were all yoked and shit, and she was telling me that they became firefighters during the pandemic because all these guys quit.
they were looking
so they're
for
like,
it, yeah.
we'll take the fucking
Yeah.
vaccine.
They filled
We don't
the whole
need
list.
I don't need my uterus.
Yeah.
I don't take
Yeah,
the fucking
seriously.
vaccine. I'm a lesbian. I'm
My
here to
heart
sleep
stopped next week, it's okay.
Yeah,
right?
so it's so weird how everything has changed. Oh, but back to jiu-jitsu. I was a mess, guys. Mike would come over, and I'm like, you got to go, Mike. Like, I couldn't take it no more. I would be afraid to get him sick or for me to get sick from him. He's
Happens
got
to a lot
kids.
of people, yeah.
Dog, that was my biggest fucking fear, was somebody going, Joey, I'm dying because I went and smoked a joint with your stupid ass. And I didn't want to, so I didn't encourage it. But the kid called me, Sean, Coach Sean from Hollis Gracie. He's like, bro, what are you doing? I go, nothing, my knee. He goes, come in and just exercise. At the time, I was going to the gym and stuff. Dog, I was so scared of COVID. When he put me in a closed guard and he was like breathing on me, I'm like, I'm going to fucking die. I'm going to die.
Jiu-jitsu ruined my life.
Jiu-jitsu ruined my life. And after he threw me around a couple minutes and shit, I'm like, oh, this is tremendous. I conquered COVID fear all in one day.
Yeah.
I went to acupuncture the first day, September 22nd. I went to jiu-jitsu. And then I had the hardest thing of ever. I had to go to the city for the premiere of the Soprano movie with 2,000 people in the Beacon Theater. I still remember jumping out of the car and a bunch of people hugging me and going, I'm dying.
Yeah, I'm not going to make it home.
I'm dying at this movie theater. And the next week I went to jiu-jitsu and my fear was gone.
Yeah.
I went to their seminar and I went upstairs and there was like 60 people upstairs. Oh boy. And I forced myself. And everybody was so fucking nice and people were so cool. And I joined jiu-jitsu basically for social reasons and for health reasons. Because I know the people I'm going to have around me are going to be the best people in the world.
100%.
This morning I was talking to a guy from the FBI in my class. I'm a fucking criminal. And he's talking to me for 20 minutes about kids. He's in charge of organized crime. Goes to the city every day for fucking... And here I am talking to him. A couple of weeks ago, it was me, him, and an actual gangster in class. This
He only
guy's-
trains in the gi, though, so you can't see the wire, right?
Yeah, you can't see the fucking wire. It's just a great thing. And now I have all these friends from jiu-jitsu that call me. Some of them smoke weeds. I meet the one Asian guy. We smoke a number from time to time.
Yeah.
And it's great. And I'm getting healthy. Like today, I burned 511 fucking calories. That's a lot of calories for a fucking
Doing something
old man.
fun that you enjoy.
Oh, my God. And,
know?
and I'm getting beat up.
Yeah.
Coach, come on.
That's
you know
right.
I'm getting beat up and thrown. I did get an Americana today.
There you go.
I got a simple. I can never get those. And that's the game I want to play. So I've been working on just simple Americanas, Kimuras, and side control. And it's just, like right now, I want to do comedy part-time, but I want to do jiu-jitsu full-time.
Yeah, that's
Even
what
though
got
I suck
too.
at it.
It
I
doesn't
don't give a
matter.
fuck. We were just talking about recuperation.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how I want to lift twice a week and then go to jiu-jitsu 3 times a week. But I can't do it. Like my goal was to hit 5 classes one week, and I hit 4.
But that's fine. You know what the goal should be? To have as many classes as you can and still do your best at them. Like even when I train, twice a day, 6-7 days a week, by the 6th or 7th day, I'm not getting really good training because my body's falling apart. I'm 41 as well. You know what I mean? I'm getting up there in age. I don't recover like I used to. I'm just a little bit retarded. If I don't train twice a day, I lose my mind. So like it's the lesser of two evils. I'm a big believer in like destroying your body to fix your mind. If you've ever heard that saying before, And when I'm destroying my body, I have no stress. I'm happy as can be. All the endorphins come out. I leave that room feeling great. Then I can go deal with all the bullshit I have to deal with afterwards.
It was really impressive. What really impressed me about you was a couple of years ago on the church when I had the previous podcast. I don't know. Me and Lee were talking about something. And I did about 20 minutes about my day. Do you remember that podcast? I go, let me tell you what.
There's a couple podcasts.
No, but that was like, I wanted people to understand. Like, people think that you just go up on stage at 8 o'clock at night and people fall down laughing.
Right.
And you walk off the stage and people throw Coke at you. This is what people think. And you go into the green room and somebody's sucking your dick and all day you sleep and you party, And people have no idea. When you get to a certain level, like, okay, we see Guns N' Roses now, all right? Guns N' Roses is not partying no more. They're not partying. They're clean and sober. They're old,
Yeah.
So what do they do now? If you talk to them, like I don't talk to them, but if you look into their day, I guarantee all 5 of them are working out. I know Duff he's a fucking kickboxer. He trains
Really?
with fucking Crazy Man. When Duff to get healed, when his fucking liver blew up or whatever ruptured from drinking, he went to one of the best, Benny the Jet.
Okay.
So he trains at Benny the Jet when he's in town, and I think he takes him on the road, on the tours.
That's cool. I would
to
too.
train him.
I would too.
So, people think, like a guy like you walk in, you got a nice build, you're healthy, you're strong. They think you just pull up with your Maserati, go in, beat up 3 people, and get back in your car and go home. Tell me about your day. Tell me about your supplement intake.
All right.
So these people know the road to a champion.
Well, my day is 7 days a week, but that doesn't mean I actually do it 7 days a week. I do have businesses that I run and whatnot. So I plan on training 2-3 times a day, every single day, 7 days a week. And when people ask me how much I train, I tell them I train every day. But life happens sometimes, and I don't actually train on those days. I just never plan on not training for a day. Like I'm leaving for Worlds on Thursday, so I took off today and tomorrow to let my body recover. Okay? I still tell people I train every day, but I didn't train today, and I'm not training tomorrow. But when I'm healthy, which as you get older, that's half the battle, right? I have, 2 blown out knees, 2 herniated discs in my back. When I'm healthy and the weather's permitting, my day starts off, I get up every morning and I go do a Murph, okay? Mile run with a 20-pound weighted vest, 300 squats, 200 push-ups, 100 pull-ups, then another mile run.
Now, before this, is there any coffee, any breakfast?
Oh, yeah. I'm up
any
before.
supplements, any protein shake?
4:30 in the morning, I get up. Between 4:30 and 5:30 is like my favorite hour of the day. The world is still asleep. I have my coffee, check my emails, look at jiu-jitsu shit on Instagram and stuff like that, and just get myself mentally prepared for the day. I take a whole bunch of supplements, everything from, magnesium, salt. I take, what is the word I'm looking for? I'm having a brain fart at the moment. I'll take a peptide called BPC 157, which fixes it actually regrows muscle fibers, tendons, and ligaments. So I take those for my knees and my elbows, my tendonitis and shit like that. I take Harderine, which is another peptide that helps with your lung capacity and your endurance. I do a lot of breath work, which, you know, we've done together. And if you don't mind me discussing that briefly. So, you know, as I mentioned, I do breath work with a girl named Gabriela Borges. She is fucking awesome.
You want to go tomorrow and see her?
I would, if she's available, I got to get you in there. I'll ask you and we'll go.
We got nothing. So.
She is amazing. I met her I met her through jiu-jitsu. Okay, we started bartering. So I was teaching her and her awesome daughter Giselle. I was teaching them group jiu-jitsu lessons, and they were teaching me breathwork lessons. I went there because I wanted to have, you know, better breathing. I still compete with guys sometimes that are 25. I'm 41, and they have endless gas tanks. So I'm on my way there. I'm like, I got this breathwork coach. This is going to be great. I think I'm going to go do some meditative breathing with some nice music and like relax and everything. That was like the fucking polar opposite of what we did. I walk in there, she's got Metallica blasting. She's making me do these diaphragm expansion exercises with like a 40-pound kettlebell on my stomach. I'm like hyperventilating. She's like, we have 3 minutes left. And you know when you go do something and like halfway through in your mind, you're like, I don't want to be here right now. Like I just want to leave, but I can't. Well, that's how it was. But through that, it completely changed my life, not just for endurance. That was actually probably the littlest piece that I took out of it. But, you know, I had really bad anxiety and depression. That fixed it dramatically. You know, you were talking about, you know, fight or flight, your sympathetic nervous system. When, for people that don't know what that is, it's like if someone opens this door and jumps out with a knife, we're going to go and stop breathing and hold our breath, and our heart rate goes up and your pupils dilate and you freeze. And that's your body. And that's okay. That's when your body's telling you, get the fuck out of here. You're in trouble. But that happens too often in people. Okay, and by activating your parasympathetic nervous system, which is pretty much the opposite, that's your body telling you, chill out, calm down, you're going to be fine. And the only way to activate is by breathing. So, you know, through that, everything, not just jiu-jitsu or just life got better, you know, and I do 20, 30 minutes worth of breath work a day. I just add it to my everyday routine. It's probably the best 20, 30 minutes that I have every day. And now she's working with Bas Rutten. She's a certified breathwork instructor under Dr. Belisa. And the cool thing is you have guys now like Wim Hof, right? That's bringing a lot of attention to breathwork. But all these people show you really cool shit, but they don't actually teach you how to breathe. You can imitate what they're doing, but most people when they breathe or they're out of breath, they take these big, huge breaths with their shoulders and they fill up their lungs up here, right? So yeah, if you think about it, right, your lungs are shaped like two teardrops or two pears like this. The parts that are up by your shoulders, they're the smallest part. So when people are breathing so much to fill up this much of your lungs and not this, that's when you start gasping for air, right? Because you're becoming oxygen starved because you're only getting this little bit. When you breathe out of your belly, not only does your diaphragm grow and your lungs grow because they're muscles, all right? But that's when you can slow down everything, control your breathing, control your nervous system. And in studies that Wim Hof has done, they literally gave like him and his entire team like pneumonia. They gave it to him first and he wouldn't get sick. Like he just didn't get sick. They thought it was like fluke. So they took like 10 of his students. It might not be pneumonia, it was a flu or, but regardless, whatever it is. They gave like 10 of his pupils fucking pneumonia and none of them got sick. And this is like a documented study. You can Google it. It's amazing. So, and he swears that you can actually control your body's own immune system by breathing. So, pretty cool stuff, you know?
I downloaded the Breathwork app. I'm up to level 18.
There you go.
I do like 3 different exercises in the morning. I do 7 days to better performance. They have everything.
They do.
7 days to lower blood pressure, 7 days to fucking reduce stress. The app the breathing exercise I think I'm getting the most out of is fucking the sleep one. You know, it's a long inhale and a long exhale with a pause, and then you 5-10 seconds, you go back. Dog, I do it in bed with the sleep apnea mask on to really give me anxiety at night because the cat's on top of me. So if I'm doing this and the cat's on top of me, I just have to pet her and my anxiety goes away.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, she's stupid. These 2 cats I have left are not, they're great cats. I love them with all my heart. I used to have a cat that motherfucker knew when I was anxious. and he would jump on me and stick his claws into my chest. And I would be, well, what would you do if, when
Make
you're
you
anxious,
more anxious, right?
you just want to be fucking alone. When you're anxious, my wife kissed me the other day. I'm like, Derek, come on, I'm getting an anxiety attack, and you want to linger over here for 2 minutes. Get the fuck out of here.
Go take a drive.
Go take a drive. But I've been in situations where I've been fucking anxious, breathing, sweating, hyperventilating, and that cat used to jump on me. And I love that cat a lot. I'm not a big guy. I'm pushing animals or hitting. I would just sit there and go, Finny, get the fuck off me. And he would squeeze his claws into me. And I would go, ow, ow, ow. But at the end of the ow, ow, ows, guess what also happened? Anxiety was gone. That motherfucker knew what he was doing.
Oh, they all know. They have a sixth sense. All
They
animals do.
fucking know what he was doing. So it's like at night when I go upstairs now, I trust her. I know she's always going to jump on my side. So I'll do the breath work on my side, on my left shoulder, and it puts me out, guys.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting. I'll tell you why God works in a weird fucking way. Because I have the Whoop app. I fucking love the Whoop app. It's helped me dramatically. But what it's helped me with the most is sleep. When you wake up in the morning with the Whoop app, do you have one?
Yeah, I had one. I don't use it anymore just because I didn't like wearing it. That didn't show all the data on it. So I use my Apple Watch now. But I have the Whoop still. I just don't use it anymore.
It's really weird with the Whoop. Remember what does it ask you in the morning?
How rested do you feel?
No. How was your breathing? Did you have sex last night?
Oh, all the questionnaires. Yeah,
Oh my God. Every morning
Yeah.
you got to answer this questionnaire. But let me tell you what they ask you. Did you cup? Did you do acupuncture? Did you stretch?
Did you drink? All that
Did
stuff.
you drink
yeah.
alcohol? Well, they'll know by your breathing. Like I have a sleep apnea machine, and it's got a computer in it. So at the end of the month, they send me an email.
Oh, and that has all your data too?
Oh yeah,
That's
but that
cool.
has a little bit more in
depth.
depth. But that data will tell you as soon as you're drunk. Like the doctor would call me like a day after and go, "What, did you drink on the 18th?"
Oh, you could see immediately.
Yeah, you could tell because you dehydrate and something goes
And your
up.
heart rate goes. Alcohol's, and I was a heavy drinker before jiu-jitsu, like a struggling heavy drinker, especially after my ex passed away. Alcohol is the worst drug in the world. It's worse than heroin.
The worst.
It's the worst drug in the
The
world.
worst. People have no understanding at what alcohol is going to do to you in the long run.
Oh,
You can't
it's
even quit
absolutely
alcohol.
terrible.
There's two things you can't quit without dying: alcohol and benzos.
Cold turkey, right? You withdraw and die.
You withdraw, you
Yeah.
have a
Yep.
great chance of dying. So alcohol affects you also. But what else goes by your day? Like after the supplements and the weighted vest, what else adds to your day?
Well, I come home. Usually I have a healthy breakfast. I go get my first training session in. In between my first training session and the nighttime sessions when I actually do whatever work I need to get done. So, I still run my private equity group. I just got into solar sales. It's been doing really, really well. So I get my work done, but again, I get to make it on my schedule. So that's like my time to do it. And if I have something in that time frame that has jiu-jitsu or the gym related to it, I just rearrange my schedule. So I'm really blessed now that I put myself in that position because I can make my day pretty much happy every day, however I want it to.
Every day.
Then I go back and get my second training session in for the day. And I do try to dictate what my training sessions are. Like, I'll work on specific things for the entire week. Even if the class is learning something, I'll obviously be respectful and do the drills that the class is doing. But when I roll, I always roll with a purpose. Like, not just, okay, I'm going to try some random shit out, and if it works out, great, and I'm going to have some fun. I go there every day with a purpose. Like, I'm going to work on this week. Either something I want to learn or something that I'm lacking or, whatever it is. I feel like if you don't train with a purpose, you're taking away a whole aspect of learning. Perfect examples I tell people, like, anyone can imitate things. So, like, when you go to jiu-jitsu at first, and I could teach you how to do an arm bar right now, and I can show you how to do a really good arm bar. You'll know how to do an arm bar. It doesn't mean you know how to do jiu-jitsu. It just means you know how to do an arm bar. My girlfriend has a fucking awesome arm bar. I've been drilling on her for 4 years. You know what I mean? She has no idea about conceptually how to do jiu-jitsu. She just knows how to do an arm bar. So I'm very big on learning the whole picture of it, not just imitating moves or seeing one cool thing on YouTube and be like, I'm going to learn that today, even though it has no relevance to anything else that I'm doing. That's it, man. Home by 9 o'clock and bed by 9:30.
How many hours do you sleep on that? And it's a regimen.
I sleep 6 hours every night, and when I do train,
6?
Yep,
That's it.
that's it. I'm good on 6 hours. But it's got to be 6 solid hours of sleep. You know what I mean? When I train the way I train, I go to bed by 11 o'clock, and I'm up at 4:30 or 5. But I was unconscious. It's all REM sleep, and I wake up feeling good. You know, I can sleep for 10 hours, but get spotty sleep and wake up feeling like shit. Yeah. You know, so 6 solid hours of sleep, hydrated. I take tons of salt. Salt is a really big thing that people underestimate for rehydration and even for performance. You know, like every single time you exercise, you burn an entire teaspoon of salt, okay, which is 2,000 milligrams of salt. Every time you have a cup of coffee, you burn about 500 milligrams of salt. So like people are at about a 5,000 milligram deficiency of salt every day. And salt actually helps you rehydrate. Doesn't dehydrate you, doesn't raise your cholesterol, doesn't raise your blood pressure. It's all bullshit. Salt is what your body actually, it's a mineral that needs your body to actually hold water. So a lot of people don't eat enough salt and they don't realize. That's right. There you go.
But it's really weird, even with like Liquid IV is a sponsor of the show.
And that's got sodium in it.
It's got sodium in it. And a little heavier on the sodium. And I didn't know why. People
That's
were
exactly
like, it's
why.
got sodium in it, whatever. And now I get it.
Yeah,
like,
if you look at people that run like ultra marathons or even regular marathons, you know, they're taking salt pills during that time. When you sweat, you're not sweating water. You're sweating salt, minerals, magnesium, shit that your body needs. So especially when you have an active lifestyle, you need to take a lot more salt than you actually would think is healthy. You know, I'm somewhere between 5 and 7 additional on top of what regular food has in it and shit. I'm somewhere between 5 and 7,000 milligrams of salt on top of that a day.
Wow.
Which is what I'm losing during jiu-jitsu, the gym, and coffee. I do drink a fair amount of coffee.
A lot of stretching in your world? Yoga?
That's probably the one thing that I've been trying so hard for years to do that I just fucking hate doing. So stretching for me is like, every time I get injured, I'm like, it's because I don't stretch enough. I'm 41. And every time I get injured, I'm like, that's it. Once I start feeling better, I'm going to stretch again. And I sign up for yoga classes and shit that I never go to because to me, I hate stretching. It's boring. It's boring. I can train jiu-jitsu 10 hours a day and I'll be happy as can be. And to me, stretching is like a flow roll for 1 round. That's stretching. You know, I'm loosening up now. Now we could kill each other. You know, but if you tell me to take 10 minutes and go sit in the corner and like touch my toes and shit, that 10 minutes feels like it's like getting sent to the principal's office. Like I don't want to do this shit.
I tell you, at nights I've been into stretching. At night, right before I go to bed, I'll turn the TV off for like a half hour before. I'll do a couple fucking downward dogs. I'll do a couple warrior poses for my shoulder just to stretch out and open my chest. I'll mix the breathing with it. And then the other thing I do is I saw online that some guys, like if you have knee problems, get a fucking Olympic bar and put it on your calf and roll it right above the knee. So I get the gun, I do that, and I got the roller. And that's a fucking workout.
Yeah.
You get on a roller, when I finish 10 minutes of the roller, you burn like 100 calories.
Yeah.
You're picking yourself up, you're rolling, you're like, why am I breathing so heavy? I'm fucking running. Then your shirt gets caught in the roller.
Yeah.
You try to do your back
you
and
choke yourself.
now you're choking yourself. It's a fucking nightmare. But I do it. And that's why also, what I was talking about with Whoop, they give you a countdown. And I'm like, why do they give you this countdown? Do you have an animal in the room sleeping with you? All these little fucking things, like there's somebody in the bed with you.
Oh, yeah.
Did you sleep alone? They ask you all these things. And it really like made me fucking think about it. But the 2 things they ask you, they don't ask you if you worked out. They ask you if you stretched, if it was stretching, and if there was breath work.
Yeah. And you set those, right? Because you tell them in the beginning, like the things that you do. Then they ask you if you did the things you told them that you did, right? Yeah, okay.
So you do those. I didn't know what breath work really was, so I would just
I didn't either. I really thought breath work was like she was going to sit me in a nice chair and play some of that like hippie music and shit, right? And be like, take a nice deep breath up to 3 and then exhale. Yeah. Wait till I take you. You're gonna have half of a heart attack. I'm telling you. It's insane.
I have half a heart attack with the app.
It's
the
insane.
app's got some shit. Like the app will give you breath work. What's it called? Breath work?
The app is called Breathwork.
Breathwork.
Yeah.
It'll give you some exercises, and then it'll give you, especially in the mornings, that's when I need my breath work. So I'll sit there in front of the computer. I'll stand sometimes. Like in North Carolina, I stood. It was really nice, and I could see the computer, what it was saying. But they have things that you have to switch and fucking, but there's some breathing workouts that are like 7 minutes long. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
There's a black dude on there, Terrell, that teaches a couple classes.
Okay.
That fucking dude will put you in another world, man. I love breath work now. Because
it's amazing.
And it's helped me.
It's amazing.
I noticed it 2 weeks ago in jiu-jitsu that when I was passing a guard, I was more. Listen, when you're out of breath, you can't focus.
Well, that's the whole sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. That's 100% right. And ironically, when you get nervous, you stop breathing even more. When you get nervous, you should breathe, right? But human instinct is when you get nervous, you tighten up and you make it even worse on yourself. Yeah.
But I'll tell you what else is bad: the underlying anxiety. When I go to a gym, especially with my knee or something, I get anxiety. As soon as my knee does something I don't like, that's it. I'm on a different edge.
Okay.
I feel everything open up because now I don't know what's going on with my knee. Am I going to collapse? Is this knee going to fucking just wilt? I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And even with jiu-jitsu, I can't lie to you. When I walk into jiu-jitsu, my anxiety level is fucking high. And at Hollis's, they have stairs.
Okay. So it's upstairs, right?
Go between. It's fucking crazy. I go upstairs with not breathing. I go up Hollis's stairs. When I get to the top, I got to pee. I got to take my belt off. I'm breathing. That's the anxiety.
Yeah.
That was the anxiety holding me down because if I have anxiety on the mat when we do warm-ups, it's a fucking nightmare.
Oh, it's for sure.
But as soon as I go and I feel comfortable, the windows, everything's all right, then I can breathe for fucking
And knowing that breath work fixes that shit, which it does, for me at least, I'm going to speak for myself. Breath work for me helps me with anxiety big time. I was somebody that had to carry around Xanax all the time. But the cool thing about taking, not the cool thing, but when you take Xanax, the cool thing is when you have anxiety and you have Xanax on you, you don't get anxiety as much because you know that you have the solution to it in your pocket. You're like, well, if I do get anxiety, I could take this and feel better, even though it's not what you want to be doing. Well, I still have that. It's just I don't need the Xanax anymore. I know if I'm going to get anxious or have the borderline panic attack or whatever, I could stop what I'm doing, go sit somewhere, do breath work for 5-10 minutes, and get myself back to where I'm feeling great and normal again.
I never did Xanax, like as a kid and all that. You do Xanax when you do blow.
Want to come down.
People give you fucking Xanax on the street when you do blow. And then, I don't know, over the years, I'm more of a speedier guy. Like, I like cocaine. We all like cocaine, so.
I've never tried it.
I was never, I like Quaaludes. I like Quaaludes, but what I'm trying to say is I was never a downer type of guy.
Same.
Like kids, when I was a kid, people would show up with all these pills. I was never really a downer type of guy. Pain? No.
Same.
When I was a kid, I tried codeine. I had a twist in my ankle. They gave me codeine. I puked for a week, so that was the end of that. Vicodins make you feel kind of weird. Like, I'll tell you what, if I was going to a Dodger game, I would ask my buddy to bring me 2 Vicodins, and I'd pop them at the Dodger game and sit there in heaven. But I would go to a Dodger game once a year, so it's not, it's not bad. I don't feel guilty about it. But Xanax, I had a prescription since 2010, and I would take them periodically because you can't take Xanax when you have sleep apnea.
Right.
You can't take the fucking strong ones. You can take the ones that control anxiety, but they don't do shit.
No, they don't put you to sleep or anything.
Bro, I have a high tolerance for a lot of shit. Like, if I get sick and I do penicillin, like I get a penicillin shot, you're going to have to come back the next day and give me another penicillin shot.
Really? Wow.
Since I'm a kid, all that shit works a little backwards on me. So when the pandemic started, a little bit before the pandemic was when I started. The night after I tried to follow Holly, the girl that's a writer, and I got such a bad anxiety attack that I blacked out on stage for 12 minutes. Think of walking on stage in front of 200 people at the world-famous comedy store. Your heart's beating. I couldn't see, and I kept looking to the window on the side. They boarded it up at the main room. When I would be in the original room, I could always look to the side and see the traffic on Sunset, see the door guys. When they boarded that up, dog, I went into a fucking state of panic, and I woke up 12 minutes into the set, and they were fucking on the floor like I had shot them. People were just laughing. I'm like, what are you laughing about? My anxiety?
Are you laughing at me?
Yeah, I took people laughing at me having an anxiety attack. But obviously, I just went from muscle memory.
Right.
And I was just killing them. And I just woke up on stage like, okay, thank you. And I ran the fuck out, and I called Rob.
No, it's the worst feeling ever. I've been there. It's the worst feeling ever.
That was it. So I started taking it. And I would put the Xanax in my pocket, the little football.
Yeah.
And then I kept going to the store, but somebody would give me a joint. And then you forget to take the Xanax. So I realized that my wife was washing the Xanax. I was putting the Xanax in my top pocket. But once the pandemic hit, I couldn't stop taking fucking Xanax.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they help. They do it. When you have anxiety, they help.
They help for a while, and then they feed into it.
Well, yeah.
Because
I mean, you can become dependent on it and stuff, of course.
No. it wasn't even independence. When I moved to New Jersey, if you told me come over to my house, I would take a Xanax, and by the time I got to your house, I'd have to take another football.
Because you were still like anxious. Okay.
It was
Social anxiety.
So it was social. It was a bunch. It was just the COVID fear. Yeah. It was the COVID fear mixed with anxiety, which is not fucking good.
No, believe me, I've been there before every competition, and still to this day. I mean, I've competed a million times. I still, for the 10 minutes before I actually walk out and compete, my fucking vision goes black. I'm sweating, and in my head, I'm like, why the fuck do I keep doing this to myself every time? I'm like a masochist and torture myself every month with this shit.
Not in the league of competitions that you're at, obviously. You're headed to the Worlds this weekend. But in local competitions, is it a 2 elimination?
It depends on the competition.
Here's my problem. I'm going to get anxiety on the first match.
Yeah.
I go up against a blind guy, and I'm going to lose. My first match in a competition, I'm going to lose. I know that. It's the type of person I am.
But you can't look at it that way. Your first match, you're going to win because you're going to do the first match. That's winning.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
No. In the long run, you win. But what I'm saying is, even when I went to as a kid karate tournaments, you would always get 2 points on me. A motherfucker would always get 2 points on me, and then my Cubanism, my New Yorkism would come out, and I'd kick you in the stomach, and I'd win, or I'd get disqualified. I would lose my mind and kick above because when I was in karate, it was just
belt to neck,
the belt to the neck, so you couldn't kick above the thing. I'd kick him in the head with a spinning back kick or something. But then that's the type, like you have to smack me once. When I played basketball, you have to put 8 points on me up. Okay, motherfucker, that's what I want to do? Let's rock. I'm one of those guys.
Right.
So the first competition I would do, it had to be double elimination. Because I'm just going in there the first time to hold on.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of places that are round robin. You're guaranteed 3 matches.
3 matches.
You know, there's one actually, NJBJJF, which is like New Jersey Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's right in, I think it's at CBA or like one of these local colleges. And that is like the perfect, this is my first competition. It's round robin. You're guaranteed 2 or 3 matches. It's generally a lot of people's first competition. The chances are you'll be going against somebody that's their first competition too. And you just get the experience.
And I could pull guard?
You could pull guard. You could pull guard.
Because I'm not going to be thrown.
I'm not the guy that's going to talk you out of pulling guard. I play guard. There's these people out here that say if you play guard, you don't get into Valhalla. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those guys. You know, once my knees went and I couldn't shoot anymore, I'm a guard player.
So what are you doing this weekend? The Worlds?
I got Masters Worlds in Vegas.
World. And this is the biggest tournament for jiu-jitsu, or because I don't know.
This is the biggest gi tournament for Masters. So I mean, the biggest tournament in jiu-jitsu is adult gi worlds. This is Masters gi worlds for everyone over 30. And then I have in October no gi pans, which I won last year, and then in December no gi worlds, which I won last year. They didn't have Masters worlds or pans last year because of COVID in the gi. So I only got to compete in no-gi. This year they had all of them, and I did second. I took second in gi pans in, I think it was April, and ended up breaking my ribs, like I told you, in 30 seconds left in the finals, and I couldn't finish the match. So that kind of got me. And the guy that I lost to is in my bracket in this one, so I hope I get him again. Get a little chance of redemption, you know?
It's pretty interesting that, 10 years ago, obviously, 15 years ago, before the jiu-jitsu revolution, it was basically for just athletes. You know, nobody who was non-athletic would walk in to a jiu-jitsu place. And now, jiu-jitsu has grown so much that you see all shapes and sizes, and it fucking inspires the shit out of you.
And the coolest part is some of the very, very, very best guys, like Mikey Musamechi, for example, who, by the way, is extremely athletic. But I just mean, by looking at him, is not someone you would consider like, oh, this kid's a jock, this kid's a specimen, right. Look at him, you know what I mean? He's this big, and he's hands down one of the best ever to live in the sport. He's amazing.
But it's just so weird how I could go online now and look up jiu-jitsu for a 50-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
Jiu-jitsu for a 60-year-old. What are the benefits? It's all there. And I'm seeing it, like when I left L.A., there was one other old guy in my school, in the whole school. And I would try to go in to roll with him. He finally came to one day. He was like, we got to get each other's number because I'm defeating the purpose. I'm coming in here to fight these 20-year-olds, and they're just shutting me down, you know. And now they have so many things available for over 40. Like I just went to class Sunday, and they signed 2 other older guys. And I went up to him, gave him a hug, and said, just keep coming. Don't
Yeah.
get. There was a girl that joined that she was so big, she couldn't put jiu-jitsu pants on. I saw her Saturday. She's wearing gi pants.
Yeah, and wait a year from now.
Sunday.
Yeah. Forget it.
And, it's like go at your own pace. You don't need to be scared no more. Nobody's going to choke you. None of those schools want that reputation.
No.
They don't want the reputation that if Mikey comes in, and he's been a guitar player all his life, and he comes in here, they're not going to break your fucking fingers. That's what. And look at all the people in entertainment that are doing jiu-jitsu. When you talk to Ricky Rocket from Poison, like I knew Ricky like from Eddie Bravo, like Eddie, Joey, this is Ricky, how you doing? I never knew the guy. And then one day I went to an airport, and there he was. And we were both on the same flight. We got stuck for fucking 8 hours. So I started talking to him. We started talking to me, and I'm like, this guy's not even a rock star. You've seen what's his name from Tool when he's on Rogan. He don't even look like a fucking rock star. He loves jiu-jitsu more than fucking. He loves jiu-jitsu.
Making wine.
And this guy, I remember when I talked to Ricky, I go, Ricky, you excited about this tour? And he's like, I don't know. I can't do my privates. That's what he was concerned about. Not that he was going to make millions of dollars. Not that he's going to make millions of dollars.
It changes you.
It changes you. And there's days, like I tell you what burns me up the most. There's days like I have a plan like you. You know what, I'm going to do this. I got to make these calls. I got to write this, submit it. And then I'm going to catch a quick 45-minute jiu-jitsu class. Like a couple weeks ago, I fucking had an appointment at DraftKings, like a conference call. And I fucking didn't go to class. And then they called me at like fucking 11 and said, we have to push the meeting back. Dog, I get more furious at that. Like I couldn't go to
I missed
class
jiu-jitsu because
you fucking pushed the meeting back, you motherfucker. Like that fucking bothers me to death now. Like, so it's been completely different for me. And after I met you, I really started thinking about what I wanted to do, like how I wanted to do this. I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna go down to 250. I put some weight on last week on the fucking vacation. It was scary.
It's all right. It's cumulative. It's not week by week. It's what happens at the end of the year.
And listen, man, where I was and where I am, it's two different fucking stories. So, and now this is what I want to do. I'm happy I'm not doing comedy as much as I am anymore.
You're not very funny.
No, that was, not anymore. I really am not. It's so weird how I get my moments of being funny, but I'm not like, my mind isn't there anymore. I'm in New Jersey now. I got beautiful people around me. It's like I still like going on stage, but I much rather go to jiu-jitsu class.
Oh, that's awesome.
3-4 days a week. I'm getting to an age now. I'm 6 months away from being 60, and I saw Hollis today when I trained, and he goes, "You really like it here?" And I go, "You know why? If I was in another school like in LA, I couldn't go there anymore. They would just kill me." Barral and all those schools. Alberto Crane's got a great school, but here I could go to this school till I'm 70. I could just tell. I could go there till I'm 70 because there's a guy that's in his 60s that goes here twice a week. Cutest old man in the world. He doesn't run. He just does little slides for his warm-ups. We play sometimes, me and him.
Yeah.
I go, "Where the fuck you been?" He goes, "My wife won't let me out of the house." Dog, there was a 70-year-old guy there that got a stroke during class and came back 2 days later.
He's got the itch.
He was a Vietnam vet, a fucking military guy, and he joined there about a year ago. I haven't seen him because I think he moved. He moved to another school now. But he was fucking 70. He went in there one day. He got a stroke. He came back 2 days later. They said, "Listen, man, we don't want you in class. Like you don't understand.
I need this.
I need this shit. I got nothing." And
that's what happens. You either come in and you get obsessed to where it consumes your life. You know what I mean? Like people become drug addicts. It's the same fucking addiction. It's just a more healthy addiction. But people either come in and they get obsessed or they just fade out real quick. There's really no middle ground. It's not like, oh, this is okay. I kind of have fun. I'll go once a week and see how it happens. You either go in and you're like, this is the coolest shit I've ever done, or you come in and you're like, this guy just sweat in my fucking eye and my mouth, right? And he had his balls in my face, and I don't think this is for me. For me, that sounds like a glorious day, right?
Let me tell you something, man. I don't understand how to say it. Listen, let's be honest with ourselves. July 16th, when I first got on stage for the first time, I had a 3-minute set. I'm not going to lie to anybody. In my mind, I thought I sucked. You know, the first time I got on stage, I'm like, ugh. But I did have something. I had a presence, you know. I had something going for me. Okay, we could build on it. You're not the funniest guy in the world, but we can build on this, okay? When I walked off the set that day, I remember looking at my wife at the time and going, I gotta get rid of this chick. Like, right, the first time I got on stage. Like,
Is
the
it 'cause she
first
didn't-
time I got on stage.
Is it because she didn't laugh at your jokes?
It just, I wanted to be a fucking, I knew right there. It's the weirdest feeling that you do something one time.
Yeah.
I get you 15 fucking jobs. I get you a job tomorrow as a chef at the best restaurant. Let's go to Cousins, okay? I get you a job at Cousins, okay? After the first day, you're going to go, you know what? I don't know, Joey.
Not for me.
It's either for me. I like the food, you know, I like cooking, but it's not for me. I got on stage and pretty much bombed the first time. I knew I had presence just by their faces, how I walked up. When I got off the stage, I knew that, like, my roofing career was fucking done. My salesman career was fucking done. And this chick I'm married to, who I love, she got to go. Because she's standing in my way of me doing what the fuck I want to do. Here's the difference with jiu-jitsu. First time I walked into jiu-jitsu, I got choked. I got thrown around. I had to run and pee outside, take my top off the first time somebody mounted me. I was still hooked.
Yeah, of course.
How can you be hooked on something that you don't even have an aptitude?
Because I think it's easy, especially when you're in a class with some talented athletes, I think it's easy to observe what's actually possible, right? Then you talk to some people and you're like, how long have you been training? Like, I've been training for a year. I've been training for 2 years. But those people all suck too, sometimes worse than you. So when you see what everyone else has done, they all started in the same place. And you're like, okay, if I just, I know it sounds tacky because this is what everyone says, but if I just keep showing up, eventually I'll be that good. And then eventually I'll be that good. And I'm going to keep getting better.
This is the fucking lesson of the day.
Yeah.
Keep showing the fuck up.
But
You're
guess
gonna
what?
suck.
That's applicable to anything.
Anything.
In life. Anything in
Any
life,
fucking
you know?
thing.
Keep doing it.
And I think for me, going back to jiu-jitsu, it was the lesson I learned from stand-up comedy. Listen, and it's like anything else in life. You know, I could tell you, Mike, guess what? I got a guitar and I know how to play cocaine. And you're like, okay. You know, when you're in a band and somebody comes up to you and like, I learned how to play Tiptoe Through the Tulips. You're like, okay, keep going. Good for you. You know what I'm saying? Bad. It's like if I come to you, you're not going to believe it.
Yeah.
I joined jiu-jitsu. The first day I choked out a guy. You're like, okay, that's great. You know, let's see if it happens the second fucking day.
Let's see if you go
and
back
the
for a
third
second
day. You
day.
got beginner's luck, you know. Gambling. You ever gamble at a fucking casino?
You always win the first time.
You'll fucking
Every
win
time.
$8,000 until the next day and you lose $20,000. But with jiu-jitsu, I was hooked even though I sucked at it. Like I knew this is what I wanted to do. I don't care what I have to do. If the devil comes to me tomorrow and says, you want to be a black belt in jiu-jitsu and compete and be the best jiu-jitsu, I would do that before anything else. Like I would do that. I would sell my soul to just be able to hang out on the mats. But I won't sell my soul because I see guys that are brown belts and they do what we do effortlessly. I can't wait till you come to watch me do stand-up the first time.
I can't wait either.
You're going to go, bro, you just went up there and did this, and it looked like so easy. It's like when I watch Hollis Gracie roll. He don't do nothing.
Right.
He don't
Well, it's
even
second
breathe.
nature to him, you know?
He just puts his hand, does something, and you're like...
Think of it this way for him. Like if you're taking a test, like a multiple choice test, and you just have every single answer before you even got the test, you already know what all the answers are. That's how he sees jiu-jitsu when he rolls. Like anything you're doing, he knows exactly what you're going to do. He knows what you're going to do to defend it, which we've talked about. You know what I mean? And when you already know what your opponent's going to do before they do it, you don't really have to work too hard, you know? If I tell you, like, Joey, in 3 seconds, I'm going to punch you in the face, block it. You count to 3 and you fucking block it, right? That's how they see everything. As soon as they see you move your hips a certain way, open your guard a certain way, he knows exactly what you're going to do. You know, it's just been doing it for his whole life. It's second nature. Just like comedy, second nature to you.
Second nature to me.
That's it.
So I finally got, like, I'm a black belt in comedy. I'm a black belt with a couple of those red stripes.
Yeah.
Like a coral belt.
Coral belt, there you go.
Because you get those every 3 years while you're a black belt.
You get your first 3 every 3 years
Every
and your
3
second
years.
2 every 5 years.
Wow.
Then you go to coral belt.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm like a coral belt. I could go up there and just see the game. When people talk to me about their stand-up, like on Patreon, I don't have to watch their set. I know how long you been doing comedy. 2 years. I know where you're at. I pretty much know where you're at. You're just getting it together. You might be really good. In your mind, you think you're better. You think you're ready to hang out with Rogan and Chappelle, but you're really not. You're really not. You're going to go there and try it one time. I know you. We all will. And you're going to come back with not the result you want. And then you'll start to stay in your lane more. And we all do that with jiu-jitsu. I'm going to go over there and train with Henzo. Really? Wait till he throws you out the fucking window.
Yeah, there's levels. There's definitely levels to the game, you know?
So your first match is Friday night.
I don't know what time on Friday yet.
We don't know yet.
My first match is Friday.
But the whole weekend will be on Flow Grappling.
The whole weekend on Flow Grappling.
So I want people at home to, if you have a Flow Grappling account, a lot of jiu-jitsu people watch this podcast, support my man Rob Shaffer, and we'll be fucking cheering for you here.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
And when you come back with the title, without the title, you're still coming back here again to let us know about your experiences.
I'm looking forward to it, brother. Can't wait.
I also want to start doing some type of videos with you to help people, like, 40-year-old.
Bro, if you want to video our lessons, you can video them. I think that'd be great because I love the fact that people of all aspects, all walks of life can do jiu-jitsu. And I think people that don't do it don't realize that. You know what I mean? There's a million people that are like, oh, you train jiu-jitsu, you're in great shape. I'm not in great shape, so I can never do that. You know what I mean? So I think it'd be great to bring more notice.
I was going to quit jiu-jitsu, but then I said, okay, I have a problem with my knee. I could tap the fuck out on a lot of things on this. But then I thought about one of the greatest fucking black belts we have in the world today, which is John Jock Machado. And John Jock has a disability with his hands. He can't really grab. So I thought about him, and he just has to work, I've never spoken to him about it, but I know, like, I've asked some of his students, and they go, he's brilliant, and he works his way around it. And that's what made me go back to jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I got one knee down, but I still got 3 motherfuckers.
And now you have a great half guard, right?
And I got a great half guard, and I can put my weight on you till your eyeballs pop out.
I can vouch for that. It's not fun.
Honest to God, I have a great time going. And let me tell you what the main reason about going to jiu-jitsu is, guys. To grow as a human being, you got to surround yourself with fucking champions, man. Honest to God. The only way to sharpen metal is metal. Metal sharpens fucking metal. And for me, comedy, I learned from a lot of great people, from Rogan, a lot of great people in my life. But with jiu-jitsu, man, you take a little piece from everybody in that class every day. Somebody gives you something. They're the most interesting people in the fucking world. Honest to God. And I'm a boring fuck, like, with people. These jiu-jitsu people, man, I go to my class, there's a Cuban kid, there's a Chinese kid, there's a black dude who was a wrestler with Chris Weidman. He was on the same team as Chris Weidman, so I fuck around with him because he's a white belt.
Right.
And he puts
he's a good
pressure.
wrestler.
Oh my God.
So he's not a white belt.
No, the shit he does. But do you have anywhere where they could follow you, what you do?
Just my Instagram is Rob Shaffer _BJJ. But the truth be told, I don't really, not one of these people that share all my workouts and stuff. I'm 41, so I kind of came from that, like, old school thing where
Me too.
I'm private. I
don't want people to see me getting choked out. But if it helps you come to the school,
yeah, absolutely.
Because you're gonna live. You're gonna get choked out for 20 days, and then one day you're gonna figure out how to make it choked out anymore. And if you're 50 and 60 and you're just sitting there on the fucking couch, come on, guys, go to a class twice a fucking week. Twice a week will change your life. Just going and eating with different people, just talking about what people do with vitamins. It's mind-boggling.
And you'd just be surprised the friendships that you make, because unlike some other sports, I personally, and I'm not saying this from a biased point of view, but I think in jiu-jitsu there's a bigger camaraderie than any other sport I played. I played hockey. I wrestled my whole life. I've been in other sports, and I love sports. There's always a brotherhood in the locker rooms and shit. Nothing like jiu-jitsu. And now at this point, anything that I do in life, if I'm putting a new bathroom in my house, if I get arrested and I need a lawyer, I go to the room. There's lawyers, there's doctors, there's fucking plumbers, there's carpenters. I got everything you can ever ask for. So that's why everyone laughs, like, oh, how come you never come out anymore? To my older group of friends, which I still love very much. I just don't have anything in common anymore. All I want to do is talk about jiu-jitsu with people,
And they don't want to talk about jiu-jitsu.
If you don't know about ADCC in 2 weeks, we have nothing to talk about.
Nothing to fucking talk about. But Rob, I wish you all the luck this week.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you,
guy. Thank you for coming on. I love you guys with all my heart. Have a happy fucking Labor Day. We'll be back fucking Monday with a podcast, just so you won't feel, at home, feel lonely. And that's it, motherfuckers. Enjoy your Labor Day, and we'll be back. Stay black. And now for a word from our motherfucking sponsors. All right, you bad motherfuckers. I want to thank you. I want to thank my man, Rob Shaffer. I want to thank Mike for putting it together. But I want to talk to you about my sponsors who are always the fucking best. I love these guys, especially Manscaped. Why? Because you can shave your nuts, you can shave your hair, you can trim your asshole, you can trim your eyebrows. Manscaped is making sure you have a ball this fall by giving you everything you need to stay fresh below the motherfucking equator. Listen, I love Manscaped, and I've been with them for years. They're fucking tremendous. You could shave your nutsack in the shower. They got the fucking lotions. They got it all. But Manscaped Performance Package is what we're going to talk about. It comes with a Lawnmower 4.0, a Weed Whacker, nose and ear trimmer, and skin-safe technology to protect your delicate holes. Manscaped even threw in 2 gifts to their package. The boxes, which are fucking tremendous, and the Shed Travel Bag. Take a look at the Shears 2.0, their luxury nail grooming kit. It includes stainless steel nail cutters, tweezers, and grooming scissors. No more scratching your lady with that fucking toenail in bed, you nasty motherfucker. So do me a favor. Go to manscaped.com. I'm going to give you 20% off and free shipping with code JOEY, J-O-E-Y, at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with code JOEY at manscaped.com. The joint is also brought to you by DraftKings. Listen, guys, I know you're with another service, you're doing this, you're doing that, but it's time for you to try motherfucking DraftKings. It's college football season, it's pro football season, and DraftKings is the official sports betting partner of the NFL. And to celebrate the return of football, if you bet $5 on a football game, we're going to give you 200 in free bets. Plus, DraftKings has an early win promotion. If your team is up by 7 at any point in the game, even if they lose, you still fucking win. That's how fucking great DraftKings is. Plus, they have a social page so you can communicate with other gamblers that know what the fuck they're doing, and they'll lead you to the fucking promised land. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, and you deposit and withdraw whenever the fuck you want. So do me a favor. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and if you're a fantasy guy, let me tell you something. They're giving away $1 million in prizes. Download the fantasy app also. Place a $5 bet on a football game and get 200 in free bets. Again, that's code JOEY, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. And that's motherfucking DraftKings. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Now, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and let's win some motherfucking money, Jack. I love you. I want to thank DraftKings. I want to thank fucking Manscaped. I want to thank BetterHelp. I want to thank Liquid IV, all you motherfuckers. I love you with all my heart. Stay black and have a happy Labor Day, and we'll see you next Monday. Tip top magoo.